What up, what up, what up, what up, everybody? It's Pastor G. It's Monday. I'm excited today. I am. I made it through the weekend. It's the start of another brand new, beautiful day, the 1st of October. You should be glad and excited as well. You're still here, and the blessings are upon you. The blessings are upon you. The blessings are upon you. I want to say this before I get started. Our hearts and our prayers go out to so many of our friends and loved ones who have lost family members. Our hearts, our prayers go out, especially to the Hunter family, Karen, to Mom. Our hearts and our prayers, our condolences go out. And for those of any of you others that have lost a loved one, lost a family member, man, it's difficult, and we pray with you. We pray with you. We send out our thoughts to all of you guys. I know so many people right now, they are going through things, and I want you to keep your head up, hold your head up, because God is a good God, and know without a doubt He sees and He understands. And one of the valuable keys when we lose a loved one is to never try to replace the irreplaceable. So you can't replace it. So it's okay to understand that and to take your time in getting yourself better and getting back. You will get back. It takes time. It takes time. It takes time. But our hearts and our prayers are out to those of you that have lost loved ones, and you got family members that are going through some things right now. Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head. It gets better. It's difficult, but doable. I wanted to start off with that because this is Uplift. This is Lunchtime Uplift. And I want you to be excited. I want you to be excited. Most of your life, here it is. Most of your life has been full of challenges. And remember from the last Uplift, here's one thing that you always got to be reminded of and keep this at the top of your thoughts. That every time you've been challenged, you've come through. Some of you have been in some difficult things, man. And most people don't even understand how difficult it's been for you. And only you know. And you and God knows. And here's what I'm saying to you again. Keep your head up, because every time you've gone through, you've come through. And in times like these, there have been times like these. And though you were beat bad by life, you got several hits by life, here's you must pat yourself on the back, because it's been difficult and you're still standing. You might be slightly bent over from one of the attacks of your life, but you're still here. You're still here, and that's a lot to be grateful for. And if nobody else give you any applause, applaud yourself. Applaud yourself. Your greatest strength is on the inside of you anyway. So applaud yourself. Applaud yourself. This is going to be the name of this is changes in the air. And I want you to get this more than anything else. One of the changes that is going to be at the forefront of your life is you won't have to depend on so many people to make you feel good. Say that again. You won't have to depend on so many people to make you feel good. You're going to be able to celebrate yourself. You're going to be able to celebrate yourself. You're going to be able to really have a celebration with you. And sometimes that's the best celebration ever, because when you are able to celebrate with just you don't have to pay the expenses of trying to find a place. You don't have to have the expense of trying to get people in to accommodate them. You can celebrate right where you are with what you've got. And you are enough to celebrate yourself. Amen. Somebody write amen in that. You got to write it again. I am enough. You got to write it in, and you got to believe it that you are enough. Now, let me cut my phone off before it starts ringing on me. Thank you guys for being in the house. Thank you, Adrian, so much for being in the house. Christy Jones, thank you so much. Ron Nelson, thank you so much. Share this with your friends right now. I'm going to get into something today. I think it's going to be a blessing. If you will stick with me, I think it's going to be a blessing. I think the perspectives of your life are going to change. We're in the season of change. This is a new beginning. October is a new opportunity for you to start some things over. September was a month of learning. October is a month of beginning. You're going to implement what you learned in September. In the month of October, you are beginning again, and you have the right to start over if you so desire. I would suggest you do. If it's not going and it does not look like this is to your advantage. Start over now, and God will be with you to help you all the way through. Thank you, Mom, for being in the house. Steve Phillips, thank you so much, brother, for being in the house. Vonda Cool, thank you so much. Of course, my wife, love you, baby, for being in the house. Raina, Atlanta, thank you so much. Marshana Cooney, thank you so much. I always acknowledge people because you could be doing so many other things, and Pastor G is very grateful for you taking out your time to listen to me today. Thank you, Leah, San Francisco, for being in the house. Derek D.C. Clark, thank you so much. Producer extraordinaire. Thank you so much, brother, for being in the house. Blessings to you. Thank you guys so much. Jocelyn Williams, who else? Michelle Perkins, who else? Sean, thank you. And Donald Randall, Los Angeles, thank you for so much for being in the house. I always acknowledge people, man. You got to acknowledge people because people are everything. You are everything. Thank you, Jackie Dyer. Thank you so much for being in the house. Now, let's get into this. I've been teaching on you being enough. You got to get this. You got to get this. You're not defined by what you've gone through. That's how we always define ourselves by the last battle that we fought. That's not your definition. God does not allow us to go through things to define us. It's to refine us. Remember this. Your testing ain't for teaching. Remember, I'm just reviewing. Testing ain't for teaching. A professor don't give you a test to teach. A professor will give you a test to reveal or to for you to discover what you've already been taught. So God never gives us tests to teach us. God gives us tests to reveal to us what he's already taught us. You've been going through a season of difficulties. The only thing you're going to realize through this whole season that you've already been prepared for the past season, and you will get through every season, no matter how difficult they are. You've been prepared for it. Don't ever doubt yourself. Don't ever doubt yourself. Don't ever. That's for other people, not you. You don't doubt yourself. In times like these, there have been times like these. You were built for this journey. You are tough. You've been hit. You've been knocked over, but you get back up every time. You're going to continue to get back up. And there again, you're going to have your own celebration. It's going to be less expensive because you're going to be able to celebrate you. You don't have to find a place to accommodate people. You're going to be able to do it with a celebration of one, you and God. You're going to be the audience of one. God is going to be your audience, and he's going to say, yes, you did it again. And he's going to keep bringing you out. Thank you, Diane Williams. Thank you, Paris. Thank you so much, Sarah, Kevin. And he's going to bring you out again, over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. You're resilient, over and over again, over and over again. There's tough words that people say to you that you believe in and you love, and that because they don't know who you are. Everybody outside of you will always define you by what they see you go through. That's an automatic. People have a right to their opinion. That's an automatic. They have a right to exercise their opinion. That's an automatic. It's theirs, and they got a right to exercise. That doesn't mean that it's truth about you. So don't let it affect you like you have been letting it affect you. You've been letting everything they say govern your life. Not any longer. They cannot define you because your bigness is on the inside of you. And that's between you and God. That's between you and God. So stop fighting their opinion. They have a right to have an opinion. It does not mean that it's truth. It's just their right to have it. Stop fighting with them. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Gilbert. Thank you, Pastor Nolan. Thank you guys so much, Pastor D. Thank you so much. Stop fighting with them. Stop fighting with them. That's the word for somebody today. You are not defined by your battles. You are refined by the battles. I don't care if you'd have messed up 20 times. The 21st time, you're going to get it right. And you're not obligated to prove to anyone but yourself. People have a right to an opinion, and let them exercise their right. Just don't you be stunned and stopped by what they think. Amen, somebody. Now move forward in what you are predestined and the purposes in which you are called to be. Move forward. That's what you should be focusing on, moving forward. All right? Now, let's get into something today. Share this. Go ahead. Share it. Share it. Share it. Share it. Share it. Share it. Now, this is the gospel. I know a lot of times people want you to be real deep. Well, I'm digging deep into your soul today. Today, your biggest battle and fight is you. That's where your battle is. And you've lost focus. When you lose focus, you lose fights. When you get focused again, you begin to win again. Period. That's what you have done. You've lost focus. Get focused again so you can get back in place. And when you're in place, nobody can beat you because God has designed you for that place. Get back in place. Stop defining yourself by the battle. They were sent to refine, to brush off the dirt that you allowed to accumulate because of inactivity. When you see something that has not been used, you see dust collecting. That is what's happening in your life. You are seeing dust collect on you because of inactivity. The greatest way to get depressed is to underachieve. You have underachieved because you've been built with so much stuff and you are limited in your application because someone told you you didn't deserve it or were not worthy of it. And you listened, so you went for second best as opposed to first because you didn't think that you deserve. You are only going to make a decision based on who you think you are. And if you think that you are nothing, you're going to make nothing decisions. You're going to expect to get nothing because you think you're nothing. Well, I'm here to tell you that God would not have created you and put you in place if you were nothing. God don't create nothing. And if you started out nothing, he always creates something out of the nothing. It's called a miracle. And you are a miracle. And don't let nobody talk you out of your what God has created special. Don't let people put you in a place where you think that you're nothing. Are you ready for this? Your life from this day forward gets better and better because you think in your mind, as a man thinks, that's who he or she is going to be. So start thinking at the level of God, and he created you for greatness, period. All right. Now, here's what I want you to focus on. This next season, October, new beginning, the beginning again of things. There's a changes in the air for you. Accept it, believe it, and watch God do it for you. Changes in the air for you. Now, condition your life for destiny. Condition your life for destiny. Make your destiny your priority. I'm going to say that again. Condition your life or outfit your life or prepare your life for your destiny. Destiny should be your priority. Somebody need to hear that, and you need to hear that clear. Condition your life for destiny. Condition. Now, what does condition mean? Let me make this very clear. Conditioning means that you will start preparing. First, you got to understand what it is that you were created to do, the purposes of God for you. You got to get that down. You got to make your calling and your election sure. For if you do these things, you shall never fail. That's what the scripture says. Now, here's the important thing. Here's the important thing. You got to find out what that is. You have been defined, and you have allowed, in other words, you have allowed yourself to be defined by the struggles that you've gone through. The struggles are not a defining tool. They are a refining tool. You go through a struggle based off who you are. It should be an indicator to you who you really are, the struggles that you face. But if you're not thinking properly, you think the struggles are there to tell you who you are not. No, that's what your teaching and your doctrines have told you. Your struggles are here to refine. In other words, if God has created in you a great destiny, he sends challenges of that magnitude to engage the power that you have inside you. If you've been going through great trials and tribulations, it means that there's a great destiny that you are going to walk in. And these things are there to reveal to you, right? Testing is not for teaching. Testing is for revealing. Understand that. A professor, once again, does not administer a test to teach. He can only administer a test after he has taught. Same thing with God. The analogy is the same thing with God. When you are going through extreme testing, it's because he's trying to get you that you have an extreme purpose. And you got to get it. And so you have to stop listening to people that define you by what you've gone through. You got to stop letting them say, oh, you went through something else. They didn't see that you came through it as well. You won. You won. You won. Listen, every time I win, it doesn't mean that I have to look good in it. You watched the football games yesterday. The winner come out muddy. It's because I've been in the trenches. Sometimes the battles are won in the trenches. That means that you dirty when you come out. So don't be worried about what you look like, be thankful that you came out. That's what you should be thankful. You came out every time. The thing that you were trying to hide is the thing. Your scars are the evidence that you won. Yes, it's the evidence. You're trying to hide the scar, but it's evident that you healed from something. Yeah, that's what a scar is all about. When I've healed from something, I get a scar. And you try to hide the evidence that you won. We won't do it anyway. So condition your life for destiny. The main priority is you conditioning your life for your destiny. Now you got to come and find out what the destiny is. That's what you spend most of your time is finding out. Okay, God, what did you create me for? That's what you got to understand. And then you condition. In other words, when I find out what God has created me for, I'm going to prioritize that. And that means that I'm going to start scrutinize. When I prioritize, it means that I scrutinize. What do I scrutinize? Every person that is going to be a part of that journey is going to be scrutinized. If you are not conducive for me moving forward, you cannot remain. I'm saying it. Now, this is going to be difficult. These are difficult decisions. I'm not telling you something that is easy, because nothing that you get in your destiny at the magnitude that you've been created is going to be easy. There's going to be a lot of defiance in this journey, but you're going to have to look at it. And see, God does not do this. He tells you, if you want it, it's available. Now make the necessary changes. Prioritize your destiny. Make your destiny the priority, and then let that manage your life. Let your mandate manage your life. In other words, when you have a problem with telling people no, look at your mandate or the purposes in which God created and let that manage your life. If your mandate or your purpose suggests to you that they are not conducive for moving forward, let your mandate manage. Let your mandate tell, hey, I am not going to allow you to hinder me in this next level of life. This is so important. This is so important for you, because people, most time, your good friends know your struggle in detail, and so they never forget. And every time you say, God has put in me to do something incredible, they remember you. Really? 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 You're going to hurt yourself again. Here you go again. I just don't want you to be hurt. And then when you listen to that conversation, it starts deteriorating your determination. It starts deteriorating your determination because it leaves a loophole for you to get out when it gets difficult. That's been your problem. You're listening to all of these voices from people that you trust and think love you, and you start hearing it and let it sink into your heart, because who are you to think that you are better than them? They'll let you know that. And so it starts deteriorating your determination. And now it's easy when you come against the battle and it's difficult, you give up on it and say, well, you win some, you lose some. That's not your definition. Your definition, all I do is win, win, win. Even if even if it never seems like I had a victory before, there is change in the air. You are about to start a season of winning. Not just one, but a season of winning. Somebody need to hear that. You are getting into a season of winning. Somebody say it with me, a season of winning. A season of winning. A season of winning is what you're about to experience. Are y'all ready for that? Now, let's put some legs to it. Let's go clear and put legs to this moment. Condition yourself for your destiny. In other words, let your mandate manage your life. Let your mandate make the decision on people, places, and things. People, places, and things. You know, if you got persons or people in your life, and the only reason why they're there is because of the history of them being there, you probably got a problem. Because if they are only there because of your history with them, now that history don't mean that it was a good history. It's just they've been there the whole time. So I think that they should be there for the rest of my life. You got a problem. because they might have been in your history and y'all might have had things that happened in the past together, does not mean that they're conducive for your future. If the only reason why they remain is because of your history, you need to scrutinize that, because they might be the problem that you never maximize any situation that you were afforded. Are you listening to me? This is a very difficult time, but it's available for those that will make the decision. Here's what I got to get you to understand. Decisions decides seasons. Decisions will decide your next season. It depends on the decision that you make on the people, the places, and the things. Very difficult. Now, that doesn't mean you can't pick them up later. Perhaps this is the best route to go, is tell them, I'm going to drop you now, but I'll pick you up later. Which means I cannot be distracted in this entry into this new life. Now, when I get acclimated and fully operating at the maximum potential of my new position, I might come back and break you off a little something. But right now, it's too important for me to be focused on what matters. I got to prioritize my destiny. I've got to focus this time, because you want to dance and you want to do all these things that are not conducive for someone to be successful. And I need this period of my life to be totally detailed and focused, because there's something that's rumbling on the inside of me that tell me that I can have it and I want it and I need to go for it. So if that causes you to tell your bestest of friends that I've got to take a, let's make it sound pretty. I got to go on a sabbatical. I gotta go on a hiatus. I'm not saying that we're not friends, but give me a little bit of time and let me go and chase this dream. See, here's the important thing. There's some people that have been with you that when you come to an interval in life to move higher or to get the stuff, you'll discover that they're too tired to move. And the last thing you need in going for this is to have to drag people along. By the time you get to what God said you can have, you are completely drained of energy, so you can't enjoy it anyway. It happens to the best. You can read in 1 Samuel 30 when David had come to Ziklag and lost everything, and now he's consulted God about destiny, about regaining or getting. God says, yes, go after. He gets down to the brook and discover that 200 of his 600 is too tired to move forward. And he says to them, this is too important for me to stop now or to be dragging people into it. I tell you what you do. You hang out here while I run for the stuff. That's what is going to happen in so many of your life. There's some people that was a part of your history. Maybe y'all fought some battles and won. So do you end it right there because we fought some battles that had history? Or do I go forward and get all that my future holds? Or do I stay right here? And that's the difficult decision, because you're wrong for it if you go for destiny in the minds of people. In the mind of God, he says, I've been waiting for you to come after me with all you got to come out. And that's going to determine whether you win or whether you lose. Will you be able to make your destiny your priority, which means that you got to make a decision on people, places, and things. If the place is not conducive for your future, then there's some places you won't be taking a picture and a selfie at, because when you take the picture trying to look good because you think that this makes you look good, everybody that's looking at the picture is looking at the background and asking, what are you doing there with them? Because persons that are focused on destiny would not be there, and they would not be with them. There's a proverb that's written in Proverbs that says, man that shaking hands with a friend becomes a surety to people. In other words, I'm shaking hands with somebody, and this shows that we're in partnership. And what it means as a consequence, if I'm in partnership with you and we're holding hands and we're in a lifetime partnership, there's some people that are in my future that want to connect to me, and they say, I can't connect to you because you're connected to them. I'm not connecting my brand to them. And so you become their surety, or you become the one that pay everything they owe. In other words, what their reputation is and what they owe in their reputation, you now owe the same thing. And so now you're wondering why people that you need to be a part of your future won't connect to you. And you thinking, what have I done? It ain't what you done, it's what they done. Because you were connected to them, that automatically made you a debtor of everything that they created in their past. And a lot of people won't let you go because they know you are the only chance. They have discovered that you got something in you that's valuable, and my only chance of winning is that I stay connected. That's why they tell you, you leaving me now. All you can. I see this happening with so many young people that have been given an opportunity because they were talented, and it's time for their talent to come to the forefront, and then they get all this baggage that tie themselves to them and say, if you make it, we make it. And you done work real hard for the opportunity, but they haven't worked, and you feel obligated to keep them on your ship. And you wondering now, why is it that all of these decisions that I'm making is because you allow somebody to speak into your ears something that was detrimental to your future. Amen, somebody. Amen, somebody. Are y'all still here with me? Now, I want you to stay focused on here. I want you to stay focused. So now I got to prioritize everything that I do in my destiny. I got to make sure that everybody that touched me is conducive for my future. It's gotta be conducive for my future. This is the tough decision. I'm trying to leave from here. I'm trying to go from here. But I keep hearing this again. I gotta say it again. There's decisions that you have to make on certain people. It's been your holdup. It's been your holdup. It has not been you. It's been what they have done. It's what they have done in the past. Are you listening to me? Are you still here? Are you still here? Are you listening to me? I'm looking up something because I got to get this into your life. I got to get this into you. There are somebody that's listening to me now. You're trying to figure out, why haven't the door opened for me? It's because you have allowed people to stay in places that they should not be in. You have allowed people to stay in places that they should not. People that never said to you that they were different. You just thought they was, and you put them in place. You're going to have to stop getting mad at people that never told you. See, we disappoint ourselves. That's what's happening. We keep disappointing ourselves. We keep disappointing ourselves. I thought they never said that to you. You just thought. I just knew that you were not, and you would know. They never said that to you. You just thought it out of your own thoughts. Yes. So the scripture is Proverbs, the 22nd chapter, the 26th verse. That's the verse. Proverbs 22. You can read that in your own time. It says, it says, be not thou one them that strike hands, or them that are a surety for debt. In other words, you're in agreement, and so now you're a surety to their debt. Whatever their reputation is, it becomes your reputation. Are y'all still here? Now, okay. Now watch this. Prioritize your destiny. Let your mandate manage your life. This means that you're about to get so focused on being what you were created to be that you're not going to let any outside distractions distract you in this next season. You're going to become committed to it. Now, that comes with a whole lot of scrutiny. Just the way it is. People have an opinion about you. Now you think you're all of that. Now you're trying to be all of that. Who do you think you are? No. You are supposed to be all of that. That's what you were created to be, all that God has created you to be, right? Right? Now, let me say this. You are about to be fulfilled. Somebody write that in. Fulfilled. I'm about to be fulfilled. A lot of the issues that we face is because of fulfilled. Now, the Bible suggests that we are fulfilled, should be fulfilled. Here's the difficulty. We are full, but we are not filled. Watch what I'm saying again. We are full, but we're not filled. Now, how do you determine whether you're fulfilled? This is how you determine it. If you are full, but you're still searching, you're not filled. And it's interesting that I can be full of something, but never be filled. In other words, I have fooled myself or make myself full with something that didn't mean anything to my destiny. I'm still full. And so now you're going to have to go through a season of getting rid of the spirit of a hoarder. Yes, I'm just making an analogy. We put so much of this stuff in place that we've been taught to put in place by history, right? By history, or by people that's just been a part of my history, things that are good for winning. And we got a lot of people with their opinion on how we should win. Remember, David went through the same thing, 1 Kings 18, 2 Samuel, 1 Samuel 18, I'm sorry. David goes through the same thing by Saul trying to tell him what he should wear to win, because he's going up against the Goliaths of life, the big of life. And so be careful of the advice of people that are sitting in the position that you are about to occupy. Man, somebody need to hear. There's somebody that's sitting in the position that you're about to occupy. Be very careful of the advice they give you, because David gets some advice from Saul and says, to win against Goliath, this is what you must wear, or these are the tools, or this is the armor to win against that level of challenge. But we know that when David tried to put on what Saul tried to give him to win, first thing he had to stop and say, okay, if this guarantees a win, why haven't you fought it? Why haven't you went up against the challenge? Because first the challenge was issued to you. If this is winning gear, why don't you go win with it? And then he had to say, in all due respect, sir. I think that's a phrase that is very powerful, and it's going to be very powerful in your future, is to say, all due respect, sir, or ma'am. I understand what you're saying, but I got to go with what destiny suggests to me and not what history has said about me. I'll say it again. I got to go with what destiny suggests to me and not what history has said about me. And history says that this is what you use to win, but destiny says that if you put that on, you won't even be able to stand in the fight. And so history says this is what you need to win. Why didn't you fight the battle that was presented to you first? I'm opening up something for somebody. I'm giving you the courage to say, and all due respect, sir and ma'am, but this is what destiny suggests I should use. And eyes haven't seen, neither ears have heard. And so most of the materials that you're using to win in a season that you've never been in is going to be things that nobody know how to use. And so therefore, you might be called crazy because you're using something that they never seen. It's not a conventional weapon. It's a weapon that God has created, especially for you to move into destiny. Stay with me here. Now, here's just a brief nugget real quick. Here's a brief nugget real quick. Let me give you this. Because I am prioritizing my destiny. Here's a brief nugget real quick. And I think this is the first and foremost that I'm going to figure out when I start digging into destiny, that everybody's got an opinion. I'm going to get that. But here's the inward work that I've got to do. And I got to be very focused here. Here it is. We're getting so much talk and advice, and we see it over and over in every platform of social media and everywhere we get, and everybody that advises. You know what the first thing they tell us? And you're gonna be able to witness to this. The first thing that they say to you: don't let nobody stop your flow. Which is, I think, is good advice. Don't let nobody stop you, or don't let nobody tell you what you cannot do. That's what we see more often than not. We see it spread all across social media everywhere. And so what happens, we become so focused on people not stopping us and people not telling us. We begin to fight against everybody and everything that we think even suggests or give the notion that they're trying to stop my flow, or they trying to slow me down, or they trying to hold me back, or they trying to stop. We get so focused there. And here's the problem. Focus creates blindness. Focus creates blindness. What do you mean, Pastor? Here it is. Here it is. You become so focused on people stopping you or trying to slow you down or hold you back, and people are trying to mess up your thing, that you miss what the real enemy is. And let me share it with you. Here's your real enemy. Don't focus on what is exterior. Your focus should be on what is your interior, because that's where your greatest battle is. It's the inner me that's your enemy. Say that again. This is nugget number one. Your inner me is your enemy. You're so focused on what is happening and what they're saying and how many times they said and how many people are hating on you. Are you not tired of hearing about people saying how many people are hating on them? Well, here it is. Here's the sign of someone that is not fixed in the inner man, is when they focus on the exterior. And I think it's one of the greatest tools of the enemy is get us so focused on what everybody is doing outside of us that we spend no time and attention on what's happening on the inside. That's where your biggest battle lies. And if you can fix the interior, you'll realize that everything exterior don't even matter. Don't even matter. Once I am confident in who I am and what God has called me to be, I then realize that everybody's entitled to their opinion. They can say what they want to say, how many times they want to say it, but it does not hinder who I am and what I am to do. It does not hinder who I am and what it is that I am to do. And watch this. Here's a nugget now. Watch this nugget. As long as I continue to fight outwardly or the outward things, it is a sign, it's a barometer, it's a picture that there's something in my inner man that has not healed. I'll say it again. A sure sign that I'm not healed or I don't know who I am in the inner part of me, which is the greatest part of me, is that I continue to fight external things. What they said, how many times they said it, it means that I'm not winning on the inside. That's the sure barometer. For those that are continuing to say how many times people are hating on them and people are stopping me and people won't let me do this and people won't, you have not gotten a vivid description of your vision from God. Because once you get a vivid description of who you are and what your purpose is and what your mandate in God, he says, if I'm for you, I'm more than anything or anybody against you. And now that challenges me. That challenges me. So if God says if he's for me, he's more than anything, why am I still focused on who is against me? It suggests that my inner man have not come into alignment with who I am in God's purpose. Stay with me now. So now, watch this. The tough decision is to spend the time to get me right before I start engaging in any external battles. Because you can't win when you don't know who you are within. Say it once again. I can't win when I don't know who I am within. Because every decision I make, every win I win is because I know exactly who I am. And that can only come from details from my Father who has created me for the great destiny. And if I don't get that definition, I'm going to fight these enemies and be defeated by everything external. I'm constantly be in war. And when you're in war, you cannot build. Say it again. When you're in war, you cannot build. If I keep fighting, I can't build. It doesn't make sense to build something and then bomb it and tear it down. And that's what we keep. So the picture or the sign that I have not healed within is when I keep blaming everything external on my success or the lack of. Are you still here? Stay with me now. Stay with me now because we're going there. Now, watch this. Watch this. I got to focus. I've got to get who I am. I got to make my calling and my election sure. That's the only way I win. If I'm focusing on everything outside of me and saying what they said and who they said, they hating on me, they doing this to me, it's a sure sign that I have not healed on the inside. Because once I heal on the inside, I know that everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got one. Everybody. And all due respect, sir. Remember, in all due respect, sir. All due respect, man. I'm going to go with what God has said. I let my destiny and my mandate manage my life. And so I have to make decisions, tough decisions on people that I thought I wasn't going to have to make a decision on. But for me to move into my new, I've got to make the decision. That's your greatest battle. It's internal. It's you seeing who you are. It's you knowing that and what the purposes of God is for your life. Once you get that down and you enter back into the going after, you'll see that it's much easier. Because every time you hear something, you always weigh it against who you think you are. Every decision and the magnitude of the decision is based off who you think you are. What you drive, where you live, what you wear is based off who you think you are. Are y'all still here? Let's go. Let's go. So now I've got to heal. Now, I want to say something that I said at least 2 lunchtimes ago, uplifts ago. I need you to hear this. This is very powerful. You were healed. Watch this. You were healed to heal. Say it again. God healed you to heal other people. So your business should be healing people. But you cannot heal other people if you haven't healed inside. Because if you haven't healed inside, you'll think everybody is against you. When there it is, the battle again is that I think myself, or who do I see myself as? That's how detrimental the outside words are to me. If I don't think I'm somebody, the outside words really crush me. But when I know who I am, I don't care what you say. God said it. That settles it. I'm going after it. It's the same thing when you read Numbers 13 chapter, when God had told Moses to commission 12 spies to go spy out the land that I've already given. I want to see what it's like, who's there, blah, blah, blah. He didn't say go over there to fight. He says go look at the land and see your promise before you actually enter. I didn't say go over there fight. I said go look at the promise before you enter the promise. They go look at the promise. They see all of the things that God told them not to see. God didn't go and say, see the giants and how big they were and how strong. He didn't ask them to. He says, go see the promise that I'm about to give you. See, sometimes focus creates blindness. If you're so focused on the challenges and how big it is, you don't see what God has said. I told you I'm giving you something. I didn't say you was going to have to fight a giant. I told you to look at the land, what it's all about, so you can condition yourself to live over there. When you come telling me about the giant, notice what they said at the end of the passage says this, and it's very clear what their battle really was. It wasn't the giant. It says, in our own eyesight, we were as grasshoppers. In other words, we couldn't see ourselves living over there. Giants never said a word to me because I was spying at the land. They didn't know I was there, so they didn't have a conversation with me. But I just imagined that if I had a conversation, I know that if we go back, perhaps I need to have a conversation, or I'd be obligated to have a conversation with them. So I'm already predicting how the conversation is going to go. We were as grasshoppers in our sight and in their sight. You didn't have conversation with them, so you can't speak for it. You can only imagine. And God is telling you to imagine living in a place called promise, and you imagine being defeated in a place called promise. Wow. Because you are not healed on the inside. You are healed to heal. That's who you are. And so healing is God's power, comes from God's power. Let me give another nugget real quick. Healing belongs to me. It is not because of me. Now that's a whole nother area, but I'm not going to go there. Healing, I'm healed to heal. Now remember, healing belongs to me. It is not because of me. What I'm trying to say in a nutshell is healing is your bread, or it is yours because Isaiah 53:5 says, by his stripes we were. So it belonged to me because Jesus did the work. It's not because of me. Don't say I can't be healed because of what I've done. That's so powerful right there. So now God is trying to heal. He's allowed you to go through several things, several ups and downs, ins and outs, but he's healing you because everything that you master becomes your ministry. Wow. 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 Now, your mess is not your ministry until you have mastered it. Man, that is incredible. Now, watch this. Your mess is not your ministry until you have mastered it. This is why God is healing you. Healing belongs to you, but it's not because of you. It's God's desire to heal, because he wants everything that you fought through to become your ministry so that you can be healed to heal. And here's what you must understand. My mess is not my ministry until I mastered it. We got these cliches about your mess being your ministry. If you have not mastered the mess through the grace of God, then your mess become a masquerade that leads to the murder of other individuals that you're supposed to heal. I'm gonna let that marinate right there, because we need to get that. My mess ain't my ministry until I have allowed God to master it. Because I was healed to heal. I shouldn't be an agent of destruction, and I put this mess on other people when I have not been healed, when healing is available. Yes, healing is available. Now, let me move on. Let me move on from there, because that's a whole uplift. Perhaps we'll go back to that. I am healed to heal. Now, let me open up something here. I want to go into something, and time flies when you're really. Here's why we're hearing on detailed revelation or detailed level, because September was the month of revealing. Because in God's world, in His realm, it was the beginning of a new beginning. So instructions come in September. The instructions were so detailed in September because it was the beginning of things. See, here's the thing. Grace to accomplish has been there from God, and has been full. Remember, John 1:14 says that we beheld the glory of the only begotten of the Father. The word, the instruction became flesh, and it dwelled among us, full of grace and truth. In other words, here's why God's giving so much detailed instruction, is because there's a grace to accomplish something incredible. But it cannot be maximized until the truth is coupled with the grace. Meaning you can have grace in its maximum form, but without the instruction, you can't maximize. That's where a deep frustration comes, is when I see it and I should be able to maximize this area, but I don't have the right instruction to tell me how to use what is already in the fullness. That's been the issue. So September was a month of detailed instruction, where October should be a month of implementation. Somebody need to hear that. And so here we are, we're in the details. And so God says you are healed to heal. You are healed to heal. Now let me say this. I only got 10 minutes, so this is gonna be a part 2 to this. Your greatest enemy, there again, is the inner me. You are your greatest problem. Yes. That's your greatest problem. It ain't them. It ain't they. It's you. You are the greatest problem. When you can get over and you can heal from what you've been through, you can move forward. Until that time, you're going to keep blaming and taking and giving other people the responsibility of your failure, when grace is there in its maximum form. But the release from God can't happen until you heal. And a lot of times we have to hush until we heal. Yes. And so you've been held up because you have not healed. And so God knows you need to hush, because if you have not mastered your mess, it becomes a masquerade that creates murder for other people. And so now He shuts you down, because He says now is the time of healing. But you got to take responsibility for the healing and say, it's not them, it's not them, it's not them. It's me, it's me, it's me, oh Lord. I'm standing in the need of prayer. Are you still here? Now I want to get this. I'm going to start this. I may have to finish Wednesday. Watch this. Here's what I got to get. I'm healed to heal. What am I healing from? What is the greatest healing that I need? The greatest alignment in our life is the alignment of identity that I can only get from my Father, which is in heaven, my Creator. Yeah. My identity with my divinity is the greatest healing moment I need right now. Everything else, trying to accomplish everything else, you make a bad decision on everything else. I don't care how good it looking. I don't care how many material things you have accumulated. If you have not conquered the challenge of your identity through your divinity, everything else is not going to make you happy. You will be full, but not filled. And the Bible suggests that we be fulfilled. We can be full of stuff that I have accumulated, but not be filled. That means that I'm searching, even though I'm full, I'm still searching for the thing that makes me happy, because it didn't come through me identifying who I was in my divinity. This is so powerful right here. Now stay with me, because we're not done. And so here's the greatest battle, is to identify who you are in the midst of all this chaotic stuff that you've been through over and over and over again. But here's the time of new beginnings in your life. This is why the instruction is coming for you to see clearly who you are, and not to define yourself by what you've been going through externally, but to see God and let him define you internally. So here it is. The identity battle is the battle of identity. That's where the greatest deception is implemented by your adversary. It's in the identity department. Because one struggle caused you to struggle with everything else. Because now once I struggled and failed, I think I'm not who I think I was. And when I get that notion, he can work on me. He can have me doing all kind of things, because I don't know. I'm not sure. Is God with me, or has he left me? If he was with me, people say if he was with me, I wouldn't make bad decisions. I would be perfect. And they don't tell me that many are the afflictions of the righteous. They don't tell me that Jesus, being full of the Holy Ghost, was sent into the wilderness to be tempted. And he had to go through that, so that when the 13th, 14th verse come of Luke 4, it says, now he went into the temptation full, and he came out fulfilled, because the temptations allowed him to maximize or see who he really was, to make a determination on things. Now I went in full of the Holy Ghost, as verse 1 says of Luke 4. 13th, 14th verse says, I come out in the power of. Now I'm fulfilled. But it takes some challenges to allow me to come alive in the fullness of who I am. That's God. And so my identity is built off me seeing God throughout all the challenges and me winning. It's not to define me. It's to refine me. Are you still here? It's to refine me. My challenges are to refine, not to define. And so the battle is in the deception of my identity. Can I open this up? I got 5 minutes, and we'll start again Wednesday in part 2 of this change in the air. Okay, hit it. So if the greatest battle I fight is in deception, I've got to understand that it was the first battle. The first battle of mankind to fight was the battle of deception. It's getting a true identity of who he or she was in God's grand scheme of things. And so here it is, Genesis, the beginning, we find out that the first engagement of the adversary, the devil, Satan, was to question if someone really understood who they were, or what they were created for, and what position they had with God. Always, that is the first place that the battle starts, is in your identity. And so we discover in the scripture that when the serpent, verse 1 of Genesis 3, it says that he was more subtle or more deceptive than any other. And so he comes into Eve and he questions her identity. And he says, I know God didn't say this to you. I know he wouldn't try to pull the wool over your face. I know he wouldn't try to tell you what you can't, or how he limits you, or if he has God tried to limit you in what you are supposed to be and how you're supposed to be. And that's what he comes to you. And he gives you choices that perhaps look greater than what God has told you to wait on. If you all that, you shouldn't have to wait. You should have what you have right now, because you have told everybody you all that. So prove to them that you are who you say you are. And that's the worst mistake you can make, is performance-based. Do a performance to prove. That's what been the plight of our life. Everybody around you, you've been performing to prove that you are somebody. This next season of your life is going to eliminate all of those people that keep telling you that you need to bring something to them to prove that you are who you are. You're going to immediately say, I'm not trying to prove nothing. If you don't know who I am, I'm sorry. And there's a song written for it. It says, if you don't know me by now, probably never, ever, ever. I'm not performing. I'm not jumping through hoops. I'm not buying you no dinners. I'm not buying you no shoes. I'm not trying to prove to you, if you don't know who I am by now, I'm not going to prove my identity. You probably perhaps don't need to go in the next with me. So here it is from the beginning, when Satan engages Eve, he questions who she is. First level of deception in the first war is who you are. That's the battle. That's an internal battle. That's not an external. When you don't get it internal, who you are, then you open the door for the external. They really just saying what they say. You just question it because you don't know who you are. And if you get enough people saying the same thing, you identify yourself by the majority. That's the way our secular life is lived. The majority. If I get enough people saying the same thing, I govern myself accordingly. That's not in the God realm. That's not in the God realm. I don't care if 30 people say something that opposes what God says, you go with what God says. And so here it is. He torments her and he says, you have been deceived by God. I know God might have said this to you, but he left something out. And you need to work to get to the place that God is limiting you in. How many times have you fought that? You right now trying to devise a strategy to get somewhere that God can't get you. That's what we spend our time. We working. Jesus done his best, so let me do the rest. And so we go years on devising this master strategy only to discover that it didn't work because it was not God's plan. And he says, it wasn't that I did not want you to have it. I just knew you were not ready to possess it. And if you're not ready to possess what God wants you to have, he's got the time to say, hold up, I'm pumping the brakes. Because what I give you is to make you better, not to make you bitter, not to destroy you. And putting the car keys of your car in the hands of somebody that you love dearly, your 13-year-old child, and saying, I can afford it, and here it is, I want you to have it, and give it to her. What you gave as a blessing becomes a tool of destruction because they were not mature enough to handle it. Same thing happens in your life. God has held up some things, not because he didn't love you, because he knew that you were not mature enough to handle it. And he knew if he gave it to you when you were in that state of mind or in that position in your life, what would happen? What was supposed to be the blessing of life become the thing or the tool that destroys your life. This keeps happening because when I don't know who I am destructive because I do things that opposes my destiny. Anything used for purposes in which it was not created for, it's called abuse. We have lived abusive lives. Now, I was healed to heal, but I got to get a healing inside. The greatest healing is the healing of me re-identifying myself through God's purpose in my life. That's where I am wounded. Because life has dealt me some dirty deals, and I think I am what life has given me. And so I'm wounded, I'm torn, I'm beat up. I made decisions based off it over and over again because when I look in the mirror physically, that's all I see is what I've gone through in the physical. The scars are the sign that I am that. That's not what God says. Scars are a sign of a healing, and he's trying to complete something in you. The first level of deception is in your identity. As the beginning in Genesis, the first level of deception from the enemy is to question, because as the enemy done Jesus, Luke 4, the first question he says, or the first statement, if you be the Son of God, turn this stone, in other words, perform to prove it. The moment I begin to perform to prove it is the moment I indicate that I don't know who I am, because those that know who they are don't perform to prove it. I am confident in who I am, and I don't have to jump through no hoops to make you believe it. And if you don't want to believe it, that's on you. Keep it moving. If you got $5 bill in your pocket and you just stuck it in there, and you know that you got the $5 bill in your pocket, and somebody come up, perhaps a good friend of yours, and say, you don't have no money in your pocket, you would be foolish to go through the performance or go through trying to show them what you know that you got. No, somebody's got a problem and it ain't them. If you know what you got and what you possess, stop trying to prove to people. That is a sign that you don't know. Now, we're going to pick this up again Wednesday. There's so much more to this. There is change in the air. We're gonna connect this on Wednesday. I need you to be right back here Wednesday. That was the beginning of this. I'm gonna do a whole series on this change in the air because we're gonna get this. This is the season of your new beginning. You will not perform to prove in this next season. You will not perform to prove. Performance-based trying to prove through performance is over. Now I'm gonna spend the time knowing who I am. My first level is for me to get who I am. That's your homework. That's what you're gonna put all your time into, is saying, I'm going to condition my life for my destiny. That's what we're focusing on this month of October. I'm conditioning my life for destiny. That means I got to make a decision on people, places, and things. If they're not conducive to my destiny, they have to go. Now, notice this. You got to make that your priority. You got to make that your priority, okay? That's the homework. Now, this might not have been as deep as maybe some wanted me to go, but this is more relevant now than ever before because there is some things that have been held up because of your maturity. You cannot put things in the hands of people that don't know who they are, because if they don't know who they are, they definitely cannot define other people. That is very important. If you put a weapon in the hands of somebody that don't know who they are, so that means they can't define other people, they will start destroying the things in their life that has come to be a blessing. And then if they don't know who they are, what happens, someone else can walk in your life and tell you who your enemy is. Now, man, that has been so destructive in most of our life. When you don't know who you are, you know what that means? Somebody else can walk in your house, walk into your life, and tell you who your enemies are. In other words, they're saying to you, I don't like them, so you shouldn't like them. And what happens? We follow suit. You know how many people mad at you right now that don't even know who you are because somebody else has got an attitude or a problem with you? Man, one of the things that I've lost friends about really quickly is when I have a friend of mine, I don't care how dear they are, tell me we don't like them. That's a sign of weakness. That is the first sign that you are weak, is when somebody can pick your friends or have you mad at somebody because they mad at somebody. That is the weakest person in the world. That is so weak. I don't allow somebody else's discrepancy with somebody define or tell me who I can like, because them that might be an enemy to you might be a great blessing to me, because every enemy of yours, God said he would make them my footstool. And so I've got to know who I am so I can define other people. I got to know there's no depths in the army like the depth of friendly fire. People that you didn't never think would kill you are the ones that's killing you. And so this next season of definition, get ready for this. We're going to go through a whole series of this. This is my objective. I'll tell you what my objective is to put your life back on a solid foundation through truth. There's so many things that we've heard that are not truthful things. And we have built our whole entire life off stuff that was not truth. We've been misinformed. What does that mean? Misinformed does not mean that there is a lack of information. It's just there is so much wrong information. And so now we're putting it back together. And I believe that after this, you're going to walk whole. You're going to be independent enough to make a decision. You're going to walk into your true destiny that God has given you. And everybody that tells you that you can't do it unless they're on board, you're going to have the fortitude to say, watch me, watch me, watch me. You got to see yourself as a blessing and not a liability. And you have allowed people to talk you into believing that you were a liability. They were always the one. And if it had not been for me, if you were never, that's a narcissistic spirit that you have allowed in your life. That's not going to happen in your next season. I would love to have you with me, but if it's not going to happen, I'm still going to be great. Let's pray. Father, I thank you today for this word. Thank you for everyone that's hearing this, Lord. I thank you for bringing us into a true definition of ourselves. Thank you for allowing us to see that this is the changes in the air for all of us. We're re-looking again at some things that perhaps we took for granted, and you've been trying to get our attention, and you allowing us to stop for a moment, and we're going to be patient enough to hear. And Lord, we're going to take, Lord, we're going to prioritize our lives according to your purpose. And we're going to walk in purpose over what I prefer. Purpose is going to rule over what I prefer, because I can only be happy when I'm walking in that you have designed and destined me to be. So it takes word, it takes instruction for me to maximize anything that you have given me. And thank you for your detailed instruction in this season of my life. I accept the change that is in my life. I thank you for it. Thank you for looking at me, always being mindful of me. I thank you for I am enough. I am enough. I am enough to do all that you said I could do. And I believe that by faith. In Jesus' name, amen. By faith, you are seeing yourself as enough. Struggles been tough. They've been great. It's okay. It's okay. Tribulation, worketh patience. You need a patience, so tribulation comes. It's not an indictment of God against you. It's God saying you are able to take it and you are able to go through. You no longer will you think that you have to have people to make you better. People can partner with you, but if they don't, you're already great within your own right. You're already great within your own right. You're already there. Thank you so much. Now, if you guys will, do me a favor, go to my YouTube page. That's Pastor G at Network of Believers. Simple. YouTube, Pastor G at Network of Believers. It's going to come up. It's going to be a subscribe button. Subscribe. Every time I post a video, you'll get a notification that there's a video there. I would appreciate if you done that. I'm very appreciative. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, that's October 2nd, 6:30 p.m. I'm the pastor Network of Believers. I don't say that a whole lot. Because I'm tell you why I don't, because I'm a different church, I'm a different body. You know, I know sometimes we have to publicize a lot of things. I don't do a lot of pictures at my church either, because I think when people come for private worship, they should be the worship crowd. I need people calling them saying, what are you doing, blah, blah, blah. I'm conscious of that. But I'm the pastor Network of Believers. We teach the word of God. We believe in the gifts of God. We are really into hearing what God said in his instruction. And how do I put that in my life and maximize my life? That's what I'm interested in. I'm not trying to build a brand, because Jesus already built the brand. I think that brand is good enough. I don't publicize when members join my church. I'm not talking about anybody that do. I'm just saying I don't do all that, because that's your private time of worship. And I think that should be. But I want to invite you out to Network of Believers. 1111 West 7th Street, downtown Little Rock, Arkansas. That's where we are located. If you love this word, or if you like hearing this, if it's something said that set you free, we go even more in depth in those sessions at church. I always say that my church is like a therapy session. That's what church is all about. When we come together, all of us, we have been in battles all week long. We need to be around brothers and sisters that have battled and overcome. It gives me courage to overcome as well, because I am more than a conqueror, as scripture says. So I invite you out, 1111 West 7th Street, especially tomorrow night, Bible study, 6:30 p.m. Everyone that comes to the building, we have dinner for everyone. I got great cooks at my church. We eat. And so I want to invite you out for spiritual food as well as natural food. If you have children, you can bring them as well. We have children's church, so you can sit in Bible study and go through the word with us. Amen. That's my personal invitation to all of you guys. For those of you that want to support us, My wife has put up an address in there. Her name is Teresa Divine Whitmore. It's the cash app, the cash sign NOBC. For those of you that want to. If you don't want to, that is okay. We're not upset about that either. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Thank you, Sarah, my sister. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Daphne Nobles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Christy Jones. Now, Sarah is in New York. I think Christy is in California. Thank you, guys. That's coast to coast. Of course, my mom is in the house, 83 years old. I'm always amazed at her being on social media. Thank you guys so much. Michelle Perkins Brooks, thank you so much. Leah, San Francisco. Leah. I've got, who else is in the house? Raina, Atlanta. Sonia, Atlanta. Nolan Brown, Dallas. Got Dallas in the house. Who else is in the house? Regina, Strength of God, great. Thank you so much for being in the house. Bernadette, thank you so much. Go Bobcats, Bernadette. Thank you so much for being in the house. My son Kyla, Dallas, in the house. Who else is in the house? Man, my computer don't let me go back like my phone. But thank you all you guys. Blessings of the Lord be upon you. You are great in the eyes of God. So that settles it. You have found favor with God, and go forward, and you'll find favor with man. The blessing is in the pursuit of what God said you can have. It's 1111 West 7th Street, downtown Little Rock, Arkansas. 1111 West 7th Street, downtown Little Rock, Arkansas. Looking forward to seeing your face in the place. I see Mamie Whitmore just joined. Thanks so much. We are out of here today. We're out of here today. Thank you, Lunchtime, Uplift Assembly. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you Wednesday. I'll be right here Wednesday. I am continuing this teaching. Do not miss this. Thank you, Patricia Mills. Thank you for being out. Go back again. Share this. Continue to share this with your friends. I think it will be a blessing to them for them to hear it. Share it, share it, share it, share it, share it, share it, share it. And for those of you that heard today live, go back and listen to it again. I have discovered that every time I listen again, it's something new that is brought out to me. It's just like the Word of God. I can never think that I've gotten a grasp on it. It always opens up even more. So go back, listen to it again, share it with your friends, your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, your church members, your pastors, your preachers, all that. Share it with them again. This is a kingdom building word. I will see you guys on Wednesday. If you're in the Little Rock area, I want to see you tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. We start on time, 6:30 p.m., 1111 West 7th Street. Holla again. All right.